welcome to Parade Handmade. How are you? Hello to number 46, by the way, and see you to the other number 46. So, because I know we lost one and we gained one. So, let's have a bit of fun. Today, I'm going to tackle that steampunk cuff project. I'm dying to do it. It's not really belonging to the most recent work with all the felting and everything, and I do have another project to continue with there that I want to do as well. But I'm just going to stick the cuff in because I'm going to do a dark one and it kind of works out for Halloween. So keep watching and you'll see what I'm going to do. So here you have it. This is my little hoard that I dug out of my bags and boxes in my crafty area. And as you see, this is the shirt. This was gorgeous, this shirt, but it's just a little bit worn in places, so it had to be moved on. I kept the material because I really like it. It kind of has, it doesn't have a sheen, but it almost has a sheen. I can't explain it. And the tonal range is just really gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to actually, look, paisley on the inside. I'm going to just keep the button, keep the cuff, because as you see, you'll be able to use that as a basis, and that'll be the way that that'll be the direction. So you may have to move the button if it's too big, but leave that till the end. You'll be able to figure that out later. So there's that. Now, I found this beautiful piece of lace. I'm going to use that as well. It doesn't have to be that wide or anything. It doesn't have to be anything. We'll just layer them up. So the thing would be to get maybe 2 to 3 layers. No, maybe 3 layers minimum. Then you can get 4 or 5. You can add pieces. You can cut pieces in 2, etc. Someone gave me this recently as a little present. And it's a trim. It's probably a bit delicate for this project, but I'm considering it because it's well within the zone, if you know what I mean, of the colouring, so I may. And I did question as to whether, well, I'll always question whether I can add in other colours. I could go a little bit lilac. I'm envisioning wearing this with a denim jacket. So a denim jacket, or jeans or a t-shirt or a shirt. So I'm kind of reluctant to bring in other colours, even though I know you could. I mean, that'd be lovely with the black, and so with the red. I just, yeah, just because it goes doesn't mean you should. There's a nice navy ribbon, which could work actually. It would keep it within the colour scheme. It could be a nice trim. So I'm going to keep that on the side just in case. And I have that trim as well. You don't need that much. All you need is enough to go around the piece itself. It's just such a simple project, this. I just love it. And I have another little bit of lacy there, which could be another layer. So let's say I have my cuff, and then I have this somewhere. It'll be inside out because I'm using that, and I'll decide later how to design it, how to layer it, and then there'll be that, and then there'll be possibly that, but that's not, when I cut it out, we'll decide exactly what's to be done. Now, I do have a tiny bit of left of this. Yeah, it's delicious, isn't it? Velvet, stretchy ribbon. And I think that could be, oh yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? It just gives a nice finish and a luxury to it. Lace, velvet, a little bit of sheen. Gorgeous. So now, here you have it. That's the 2 side by side. I've decided to keep some of the sleeve so that I can decide later if I want to keep it or not. I might use it as the basis and for the other pieces to kind of overlap. So I'm just going to the end. You know the way you have the cuff and then you have this place for the opening. I'm just going to go to the end of that so as not to mess up there. And I'll leave a little tiny bit for a hem in case I want to tidy it up later, but it's not probably necessary. And just cut across, happy-go-lucky. Now the other one the same. You don't have to be too fussy about this, just get it. Just be careful you don't have other material beneath that you're chopping too. So I decided that I would put this inside out because I like the inside. So that's what I'll do. It's inside out. And I'll move the button to the outside as well later, but for now, I'm just going to close it back up on the inside, the small button. I will move that though. Now, so there you have it. So that's the first one. So this is going to be the top side. This is going to be the piece here. If this is going to be on your wrist, well, then obviously that's going to be too long because you won't be able to do anything. But we can trim that off later when we know exactly where we want it to be. I want to show that, I think. And I want to have some lace. I like the look of that. So what I'll do is I'll make that the first layer for the moment. And I want to make them, I don't want to waste this because it's a really nice piece. So I'll just measure it properly later. But this is just for the design. And then I might put a little bit of lighter to pick up the lightness there and to keep a little lightness in the whole thing. Now maybe this would be better going underneath. Like that. So this is what you do. You just play around with it. And you decide where and how you want it to show. And I said I had some of this nice, I had black velvet. There's navy ribbon and black velvet. Oh, that's gorgeous. Right, so I'm going to use this. So I have to decide where to use that. And the problem with me is there are many ways to do this. There are so many ways. And I want to do it in every way at the one time. And I really need to kind of decide. The other thing you can do is, because this piece of lace is so wide, you know, you can use it on the double like that and really show this. Perhaps I could put it there and I could put the little bit of black around it. This looks good to me now because you're making more use of that. So basically just layer up the way you want it to be. I would like something over that. I'm not entirely sure that this other one is going to work with this scheme because that is just so simplistic. It's gorgeous. No, I don't think this is necessary. So that's gone. Quick decisions. This is looking lovely to me. I just think it may be a little bit too simplistic, but actually it would probably work. This is another little piece of black lace that I have. I don't know if it's at all necessary. The debate is, you see, really I have 1, 2, 3 and a little bit of that at the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't really need 6 different pieces, and that is a piece of dark, but we've already got plenty of dark. So no, that's out. Whoa, look at me. Now the question is, do I want to bring a little bit of light in? It is kind of light and romantic-y if I do, and let's just play here and see where it might go. Because obviously I want to be able to see it. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's good. So there, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Now, I am not going to cut this until the end. What I'm going to do is cut out those to the length I need, 1 for each cuff, and I'll show you how I'm getting on. So I'm just trimming the buttons off here. I was a very bold girl and didn't look where I was going on the other one, and I snipped a little bit of material off. So I'm just trying to be very, 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 well, I'm not. I'm just trying to be a little bit more careful. So what did I do? So that's the buttons off, and and take out the old thread, and off you go. I presume everybody knows what I'm saying when I say things like, you know, chop off the buttons and move them around, but I just thought I'd show you exactly what I was doing. I want to cut off just enough of this so we don't have all the extra pieces hanging around. So just tucking that in a little bit. I'm not going to go double because it'll be too thick. And it's going to go around here. I'm going to hold it to there and then just walk it around, holding it in place with your hand. You can pin this if you want, but I don't really want to do it just yet until I have the other pieces on top. And then over to there, and then an extra little bit that you can hide later. So that's 1, and we need 2 pieces of that. You can use this as a marker, as a gauge for the length of all your other strands and pieces and bits and bobs that you want to add. Great. Now, I always keep an eye out for all of this kind of thing. I keep it from old clothes, but if I'm at a fair or a craft fair or some kind of suppliers fair, the Knit and Stitch in Dublin. I'm not sure if it's on lately. It probably is, but I just haven't looked. At that kind of place. And if I see any kind of old shop closing, or I always keep an eye out for bits and pieces. Now it doesn't have to be exact again. There you go. I feel so spoiled having all this lace. And I have a new berry collection coming soon, and there's going to be lots of this included as well. Lacy bits and everything. So that's for the two. Look at me, very, very organized. And this one, I'm actually quite excited. I really like the way it looked there when we folded it. One. Ooh, there's not a lot left over, but you never know what you can use that piece for, especially if it's so pretty. Pretty like this. So there you have it. I have it down to just everything I need for one cuff. We said we'd put this on, but fold it. Now let me see. Yes. One side is going to be the underside. The other side is going to be the overside. I think the shiny side should be the one that we're going to see most of. So I'm doing it like that. So not all the way to the bottom. So you can decide yourself where you think it's nicer. But don't forget, we want to show this as well. Lace. It's so pretty. Universally pretty. Let me see. Is that all right? Yes, because we want to see some of that. If I push this to make it longer, this is going to be much shorter. So I kind of like it there, and it's sitting very well because that's where the swirl goes. So I'm going to just pin that in place for a moment. Oh, these lovely pins. Some of them are not very sharp. I'm just going to pin it on itself, to itself, just so that the position doesn't shift around too much. Look at me, I'm trying to be coordinated with black pins like I ever normally care. Although it does jar when I use yellow pins. I don't know why. Simply put, kind of level it off as you can. And I'm going to use a yellow pin. I'm going to put it right up to the cuff, to the seam, because we're going to cover it. Ooh, we're going to cover it. Do you know what I'm going to do? If we're going to cover it, feasibly, if I wanted a tiny little bit extra, I could. So I'm going to put my hand in. So that's where my hand is going to be. That's where that's going to be. Actually, I think it's long enough, is it? To there, because you want to be able to use... I'll tell you what. I'll give it that. I'll give it a tiny little bit of space. And then when I've sewn that on, I will sew the black piece on. And that means we'll have gained a tiny little bit. And I'll figure out the end. So you just pin it on there. See, I said I'd leave a little gap and move around and pin it on in the next place. Try and keep everything nice and flat so that you're not pulling anything. And that means when you've gone through this, everything will be sitting in the right place and you won't have pulled it out of position. Now, if it comes out a little bit, it being ruffled, it's all right. That's got a button in it, I think. Open it. Now, when it comes round to the side, you're going to make a little hem. You're going to turn it under. So turn it under. Let me see if I've done it enough. Just about. That will have a better hem. But look, see what I'm saying? Bring it around. Bring it to the inside and we'll secure it there. I could have made it longer, but hey, it's all right. The inspectors aren't out. Now, just a little bit longer, but it's not necessary. We'll secure it nicely with our sewing and it will be perfect. And the other side as well. Bring it to the edge. Kind of keep that the same width, give or take. Bring it around the bend. We'll just make sure it's all secured. Mind your fingers when you're doing this. Now. So that's going to be like this. And then I'm going to tack that on there. And then I will attach that on both sides with a little top sew all the way around there and all the way around there, securing it in the same way there. This way. And if that's the knuckles, I'll do it there. I'm going to cut it off about an inch more. About an inch more. And then I'll give it a nice little hem, because I like that to stick out a bit. I quite like it. So I have had a little change of heart. I cut up to the end. Remember we said on this piece there was, you know, I don't know what it's called, but you know this piece where the buttons come down from the cuff. I cut right up to where it would split so that it would open. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to hem it because it kind of looks a bit homey-madey. So what I'm going to do is put the button on where I need it. I may add another little button or maybe just a little stitch there, but I just want to make sure that I can get my hand in and out. And then what I want to do with this part at the top is fold it a few times like this, maybe in 4. And I want it to be uneven, keep the lace even there. I want it to be a little bit uneven, and I'm going to cut little zigzags out of it. I don't want to use a pinking shears because it's too obvious. So I'm just going to do it with my scissors bravely, because, you know, I love doing things with scissors bravely, like this. And basically hope for the best, knowing that the inspectors aren't out. With an educated guess, like you don't want to cut into the lace or anything like that. And if you have any flat bits like this, just come along later and just make it visually appealing. Now I think that's going to work much better than doing a kind of stuffy double hem on it. I could have done that, but I kind of like this. Now pinking shears would work because it would stop it from fraying at all, etc, etc, etc. But I think this is cute. Why am I doing it? I think this is going to work just fine. Now, oopsie-daisy, and there you go. So a little bit of a hem across there, just enough to hold that ribbon on. I did it at the end and I did it here. It's elasticated, but yours doesn't have to be elasticated. I'm not going to go on both sides. I quite like the way that holds its own there. It looks really pretty, and it would just be really, really making work for no reason. So yeah, I'll put a button on. I'll do that. I might put another little button there on, and that's what they look like. So see you in a moment. Woohoo! So there you have it. There I have it. I'm going to finish those. I'm going to do them this evening, because if I just do it, I'll have it finished and I'll be so happy, and I'll probably wear them the next time. And I'm just, oh, I think they're gorgeous. So I hope you found something interesting in that. And as you see, there's always something to be made up as you go along. You always have to kind of readjust it. So that is my steampunk cuff. What do you think? Next week, I promise I'll do my little mouse, the little adventurer mouse, and the little poem that I spoke about from when I was a child. I want to do it justice as well, so I didn't feel I could kind of run it in with this one today. So hopefully I'll get things done. There's a lot going on, like I said last week, with the unmentionable. It is a bit unmentionable, but there's a lot of prep having to go on, and I'm hoping to have plenty of prep done so that I can do plenty of creative projects. Thank you for watching, and good luck with your projects this week, and I hope to see you all next week.